too.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
For sure.
you are live. Here we go. All right,
Hey, everybody.
now, so let's see. How's it going? There's nobody there, but I want to see.
This is my first live stream, guys, by the
Is
way.
that right?
Well, welcome to it
Yeah.
then. There
Yeah,
you go.
nice. There we go.
So
Okay,
excited.
so got it. You should have been tagged there, Tyler. You should see
Yeah.
it in your thing. So, and I'm going to repost
Let me hit it with a repost.
Yeah, perfect.
I got a post going kind of crazy right now about some IP, if you saw that one.
Yeah, that's taken off.
Yeah, a little bit.
You got to go after that guy.
I know.
Let's see. All right. Got it. Okay. So if you're watching, welcome to Business Brain. We're getting set up here. We're joined today with Tyler Purcell, and we're going to learn all about laundry and wealth management and just being a general badass.
Tyler's going to teach us how to launder all our money. Wait, no.
Yeah.
No.
People don't think the finance part is fun, so we'll stick to laundromats today.
Yeah. I like the finance part.
Our listeners might disagree.
Yeah. I'm interested in the revenue stack concept. So we're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to share that link in our Content Cowboys. There we go. Whoop. Right
We need to get some of
now.
the Cowboys in here.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Gosh, darn it. Where'd they go? Okay, hold on. I'm always doing this.
Call the
Start
cavalry.
around. Yeah. There we go. Copy the link. Nice. All right. There's Depeche. Okay, good. Round up. All right. Are we all set?
I think so. Sure.
I think so too. You're going to start?
Yeah, I'll get us going here. Yeah, there we go. All right, here goes absolutely nothing. Business Brain, episode 551 for Wednesday, May 22nd, Bitcoin Pizza Day 2024. Greetings, folks, and welcome to Business Brain, the show where we take an idea or three, we crunch them, we analyze them, we use them to help each of us tune our business brains every single episode when we get together. Our sponsor for this episode is Shopify.com/businessbrain. That's where you can go to sign up for a $1 per month trial period. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. For now, here in Durham, New Hampshire, I'm Dave Hamilton.
And out here in Northern California, I'm Shannon Jean. Is the pizza Bitcoin thing like the guy that spent $10 million for pizza?
No, he spent 10,000 Bitcoin and bought 2 pizzas.
Okay, well.
So today, let me look. That's $690,000, $690 million worth of Bitcoin.
Yes.
That's right.
Okay.
Yes.
Just want to
Sorry.
be sure.
Yeah,
Okay,
I was
that's
doing
great.
the math. Yeah.
Poor
So,
guy.
hey, poor guy. If you're watching us stream this right now, you see we've got 3 people on the screen, and we're joined by Tyler Purcell today. We're going to talk about a bunch of different interesting things. I met Tyler a few months ago, although I feel like I've known you forever, and we met in a growth group on X, and I've learned a lot about his business. He's a COO of, I like saying that, COO of Kiplinger Wealth Advisors, and he's also the co-founder of The Laundry Spot, which is a chain of laundromats that I'm fascinated with. I don't want to own a laundromat, but every time Tyler posts something about it, I find myself wanting to own one. Tyler, thanks for being here today.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate it. I'm excited to chat today.
Yeah, same. So we're right with laundry, finance, laundering. No, not laundering. That's the one thing we're not talking about, right?
Dave, don't get the SEC on me, man. Okay. Go through today.
If I mention Bitcoin and laundry and finance, I don't know how I can avoid that, but we're going to try.
Those are bad keywords, man.
They're bad keywords. Yes,
To have all together. All right.
Jerry
So
doesn't like Bitcoin. You got to be careful.
Yeah, that's true. So okay, I have a bunch of questions, but I want to give you a couple minutes here. Give us some background, how you got started, how you wound up in wealth management, and then how you added to your revenue stack by going out and co-founding this chain of laundromats.
Yeah, so kind of all started with the finance thing. I studied finance in college, was always kind of a numbers guy. Went the wealth management route, thought about investment banking, but, I like working with people, and affecting their lives positively. So kind of veered off into that personal finance, financial planning route. Started Merrill Lynch, quickly found out that was not how I wanted to do things. So I moved on from there, bounced around to a couple places, and then ended up at an RIA, Kiplinger Wealth Advisors. Been here for 8 years now. I'm the COO, but I'm also an advisor. So I have my own clients, but I kind of help run the place as well. Just absolutely love what I do. Super passionate about it. This will be, the thing I focus on and keep the main thing for the rest of my life, probably. So
That's cool.
We're in Cincinnati, Ohio. We manage about $235 million. So a nice, local family office type of business. And then flipping to the other side, yes, I helped start 4 laundromats, the Laundry Spots, also in Cincinnati, Ohio. That story is a little more interesting. Started dating my wife about 10 years ago. Knew her father had a laundromat, and never thought anything about it. He's a smart guy. He's an entrepreneur at heart. Was in a commercial real estate, PNC insurance agency. So I'm like, yeah, it's got to be a decent business, right? He's smart. He knows what he's doing. So never really asked him about it or knew much about that business. Fast forward 3-4 years later, we get married, and he approaches us as well as his son, my brother-in-law, and says, hey, I think I got a good thing going. Do you guys want to team up and open up some more laundromats?
Huh.
So we got together, created the Laundry Spot brand. He rebranded his first store Laundry Spot, and then now we have a total of 4 stores and hopefully more here soon.
That's cool. I love that story.
Close? I've always been fascinated by laundromats because they feel like something that approaches like that mailbox money, like, passive-ish income. How passive is it really, though? Or is this more of an active business?
Yeah, so I'm with you. Like, I'm not a big fan of the word passive. People just think you sit back and kick your legs up and you're just making all this money.
Yeah, listen, if somebody's got that idea, feedback at businessbrain.show. Like I could have, it turns out I could have like 100 of those. So right. I'm totally fine with that. Yeah.
Yeah. If they're passive, then you can have as many as
truly passive.
Yeah. Yeah. So, at the beginning there was that learning curve. I knew nothing about laundry or the laundromat industry at all. So, super hands-on at the beginning. Even had to go run some night shifts at the laundromat because we were figuring out the employee situation and manager situation. So just that, trial by fire. But as we grew, we kind of built out, somewhat of a corporate structure. So we have attendants at the base level, then we have managers at each store, then we have 2 assistant general managers, and then we have a general manager on top.
Okay. So you really built a hierarchy here, like a real business. I mean,
right.
Yeah.
That's the point that we wanted to get to, because we all have full-time jobs. So this really is a side business for us, albeit a great one, and we love it. But we all have, limited capacity. So it was important for us to get to that point.
How many? Okay, so when did you bring on, or did you do it from the beginning? Like that general manager, assistant general manager, was it the first store, second, third? How did that work?
It was the 3rd store. Yeah. So we kind of hit that, man, I don't know if we can grow anymore unless we figure something out here. So we're like, we got to pony up and get this figured out if we want to keep opening stores.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I imagine, did you see, I hear a lot of people talking about it like, well, I don't know how to turn it over. It's not going to be as good or productive. Did you see a dip in, is there a learning curve then for this new person that you brought in until they kind of picked everything up?
Yeah. Like anything, there's a little bit of a learning curve. We got lucky though. Our GM is amazing. She does a wonderful job. She learned really quick. So
nice.
If she's listening to this, hats off to her. We love her to death. So cool. She's killing it for us. We're basically running this thing, and it's great business at this point. Dave, to your point, it is, I think, as passive as it gets for
sure
at this point.
Yeah, that's cool. And so I want to talk about, we've done shows about working with family and everything. So your co-founder's your brother-in-law, right?
Yeah.
And have you had to kind of set boundaries or design systems, or, I can't imagine you guys are getting together on the weekends and everybody's tired of talking about laundromats. How does that
Yeah.
work? Tell me the trick.
Yeah, so we have weekly team meetings like on laundromat specific items, and then we have a Slack channel. Obviously, we're chatting, about business in there. But yeah, on the weekends we try to keep it minimal business. We're like, hey, let's enjoy ourselves and not just talk about laundromats this whole time. So yeah, it's been a conscious effort to try to keep those things separate.
Yeah.
All right, folks, have you ever thought about starting your own merch store but didn't know where to start? Well, let me tell you a story. One random Tuesday, a business partner and I were kind of talking. We had this wild idea with one of our businesses that had nothing to do with merch prior to this day. And we're like, well, wait, we want to do that. We want to turn this into reality. With Shopify, it took us less than a day from concept to our first sale. We heard that sound, which is the sound of a sale happening on Shopify, and we were like, wait, did that just happen? Yeah, it did. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. Whether you're just starting with your online shop, opening your first brick and mortar store, or celebrating your millionth order, Shopify's got your back. I'm not going to play the sound a million times, though, because that might get a little old. But it's that times a million. Shopify will help get you there. That's what you need. Selling anything from productivity programs to shipping supplies, Shopify helps you sell everywhere with their all-in-one e-commerce platform and in-person POS. They even have Shopify Magic, their AI-powered all-star, making selling easier than ever. And did you know Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S. and supports millions of entrepreneurs across 175 countries. And with their award-winning help, you're never alone on your journey. So if you're ready to turn those business dreams into reality, sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/businessbrain, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/businessbrain now to grow your business no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/businessbrain. And our thanks to Shopify for sponsoring this episode. All right, this is fascinating to me, Tyler. You've got how much of your time are you really spending on this, though? I mean, you're like, I know you're avoiding it on the weekends. You've got the Slack channel, but percentage-wise, like, how much of your brain space does this occupy?
Yeah, the laundromat specifically, right now running those 4 stores, probably, I'd say about 10% of my time.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
All right. So it's a 10% business. That's pretty good.
That is great. Yeah. And so, okay, so I have a question. I have a couple of questions, but I think you may answer one when I ask this first one. So we met growing our accounts on X as part of this Growth Madness group. And tell me, and I think I know this now, but people listening, running their businesses probably don't have a concept of, oh, I want to grow. I'm going to go out on Twitter and X and start posting about, my business, my life, my family. Tell me what your, motivation to get involved on social media to promote your brand and yourself. How did that start? And what is it, more importantly, because I know you've put a ton of time into it. What's it given back to you? Yeah.
So, even before the Growth Madness thing, I kind of got involved in the small business Twitter X area. So I started following, major accounts there, and I'm like, man, these guys are creating and growing businesses like straight off this platform. I'm like, let me try my hand at this. So I started posting. I posted finance stuff at first, started posting a little bit of laundromat stuff, and people started kind of gravitating towards the laundromat stuff. And then I started looking like, who are the laundromat extraordinaires on X? And I was like, well, there's a couple guys talking about it, but like, there's not much info on laundromats, considering, people love to talk about boring businesses. Cody Sanchez made it popular, with her YouTube videos, but there really wasn't anybody talking a lot about their laundromat business. So I'm like, I'm going to just jump into this head first. So that's what I started doing, posting a lot of laundromat stuff, and have had a ton of people reach out. Just, hey, I bought a laundromat. Hey, I'm looking to buy a laundromat. I'd love to get into business. Can I pick your brain? and I love it. It's just like a hobby. I could talk about laundromats all day. But yeah, I've talked to, man, over 100 people from DMs at this point, and just this year alone. So the connections are amazing. Obviously, Shannon, meeting you has been great, and some of the other guys. But the connections you can make here just have blown my mind. So if you're out there and you're thinking about it, dive in 100%. You can't be 50% in, 50% out. You got to go full bore to make this, worthwhile.
All right, so I want to ask about this because we, especially with Shannon's recent sort of foray into X, how valuable can you put? I don't want to say can you put a number on it? Can you assign a monetary value to the work that you've been doing on X? But can you look at your business and say, my business is better for me having invested all this time growing my profile on X?
Yeah, like you said, I don't know if I could put a specific number, but I can say probably 5 years from now, my business will be 10 times better and larger because of the work I'm doing here on X. So,
okay,
yeah.
that's a legitimate answer. Yeah, that's perfect. Wow.
Now,
Why? Why? Yeah.
Purely the connections. The people I'm meeting, the other laundromat owners, and focusing on that, helping people possibly open laundromats in the future. That is all on the table.
That makes sense to me. We talk a lot about going to trade shows on this show, conferences, the social aspect of business, for to put an umbrella term on it. Yeah. And you're essentially saying the same thing here, that X is that sort of ongoing social platform that allows you to be more in touch with people either in the same business or that can help your business or that you can help, and that'll allow you to grow. Okay.
Right. Yeah. And there's a lot of things going on in the background I wish I could share today, but maybe we'll have to have another Business Brain podcast when we get to that point.
Well, but that comment in and of itself, and I know it sounds sort of coy and all that stuff, but I mean, these things happen in business. I just had a conversation before we had the show that I would love to talk about on the show, but I can't yet. It's way too early. It's how it works. We've all been there, and we will all be there many, many times over. So the fact that you are having those conversations because of the time you invested meeting people on X, as opposed to not as opposed to, but it related to the time that I might have spent meeting someone at a conference 5 years ago that I now just had a conversation with and might change the nature of one of my businesses over the next 6 to 12 months. It's the same thing. It literally the same thing. That's the interesting part. Yeah.
Yeah. I compare it to like what you said, going and meeting at events or conferences. I'm talking with 6 to 8 people weekly from DMs, from Twitter, from X, so it's like, imagine all the time, effort, and money you would have to spend to do that in person at that rate.
Exactly.
You just couldn't keep up. And that's why it's so valuable.
And it's a crazy filter, because these are people that are, in your niche already, that are looking at your content and seeing that you have expertise, and your credibility you already have. It's like a soft credibility, right? Because you're not pitching them anything. It's just like, oh, this is who I am. This is what I do.
It's like you're speaking at a conference, right? Where people come up to you after you speak, and you don't have to tell anybody how great you are because the conference organizers already did that, right? It that's the analogy here.
Yeah. Yeah,
all right. You're selling me on spending more time on X, Shannon.
Dude,
I'm not happy
telling
about
you,
this.
it's. I was on a podcast last week that's going to come out this week sometime.
Oh, amazing!
With Nick Tyler, who
Yeah,
and he asked me the similar kind of thing, and how do you get involved in a business, and how do you know it's working, and what do you measure? And he's a super analytical, crazy spreadsheet guy, and I'm not. I measure the energy. In the beginning, you've got to give a lot of energy to make it go, and you're going, posting, doing all this kind of stuff, or driving your new business. But at some point, it reverses, and it gives you energy back. And I think probably, 4 or 5 months ago is when I started to feel the energy flowing back to me, the dopamine hits of the viral posts that we always joke about, but also that collaboration of people reaching out to me and in the DMs and phone calls. It's amazing, man. There's something going on there.
I mean, because I think now, Shannon, you actually have more X followers than I do. I think you passed me. Yeah, no, I'm just shy of 7,000. I think you're just over 7,000.
Oh yeah, 7,200.
But I never worked to build a following on X. Those people just kind of came because of speaking at like all the other things that I've done. But I'm also a musician, and what you just said, Shannon, is what happens every single gig I play. The first few songs, we have to be the ones putting the energy out into the room.
Oh, yeah.
And then if you do it right, then the energy starts coming back from the crowd. And then it becomes this collaborative energy that hopefully lasts all night.
Yeah.
And now you're telling me I just got to do the same thing on X.
Yeah, you have to. It's pretty interesting. Yeah.
Dive in, Dave.
It's pretty wild.
I got to dive back in is really what it is. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. All right. So it's great. I love the revenue stacking concept of, hey, because I kind of did something similar. I built my first business, and then once I had that steady income, it allowed me the flexibility to go out and do something else. And you did the same thing with, your job, which I love the concept. And, I love the whole thing and expanding. And I imagine, someday we'll see laundry spots all over the country. It's going to be amazing. And it's all going to, it's terrific. But I have this question for you, because you did this post one time that really blew my mind, and I want to dig in and ask you about it. And it's this 20-acre friends and family compound.
Yeah.
Now, for those of you that don't follow Tyler, whatever, there's a post, and I'll put it in the show notes, where he talks about he's got how many families? 8 lots, 4 family, 4 friends, 20 acres, creeks on each side. Got to go over a bridge, less than 10 minutes from the highway, great school district. They bought this land, they're putting in utilities, and he's got some pictures in there. So tell me the impetus for this. He found it, good. The impetus for this, and where you going with this concept, which sounds like just incredible to me.
Yeah, so I'm a big family guy. I grew up with 4 siblings. I got 2 kids currently. Me and all my siblings are super close. Same with my wife. She has 1 brother. We're super close with them as well. So we've always joked like, man, I would love to live right across the street from you, and just our kids can play out in the field or the creek and whatnot. And, as we got older, I'm like, why can't we do this? Let's try to make this happen if possible. And I've seen people do it, over the years here and there. I've seen, I live with my brother and his family. And so I started looking, I'm like, let me see if I can find places to make this happen. And quickly learned a lot about zoning, just an absolute nightmare.
Oh, I can imagine.
I thought, at first when I started looking, I'm like, I can just, get a piece of land, put 1 street in there, and we can have however many houses we want, boom, easy. And then it's like,
no,
absolutely not.
Yeah.
So I went through a lot of different pieces of land, man, and meeting with zoning and doing a lot of work, and then them saying, nope, sorry, you can't do it. So it's been super frustrating, but I think the patience paid off. We found a great piece of land. We're all excited for it. So actually the development should be done here in the next couple months. So be ready for the lot split and get to building.
And you got utilities run in, and then you guys split them all up. And then is it you're staying in the same general area where you're kind of at now and everything?
Yeah, it's only about 15 minutes from where I live now. So
wow,
super close.
It's much more difficult to do that in California. I hate to tell you.
You got to get the heck out of California, Shannon.
I tell them that all the time, Dave.
Yeah, I'm too I got my roots, man. That's a long story. It's a whole nother show.
you know what I say to anybody that'll listen to me is California's great, except it's full of Californians. Shannon accepted, mind you. Shannon and his family accepted.
Yeah.
But okay, so I'm curious about this. So you found a bunch of land. You're going to divvy it up so that 4 families can live there, right? Yeah. Okay. In the end, will each family own their own plot of land, and you don't. I mean, you might choose to build like a homeowners association amongst the four of you, which probably would be smart. But everybody owns their own land in the end.
Correct. Yeah, it's basically like we just created our own neighborhood.
Yeah, right.
It's not compound how some people think about it. You know, it's only 20 acres. It's basically a mini neighborhood.
Right.
And operates just like that. So yeah, we will have an HOA once everything is done, and everybody will own their own plot. You know,
so somebody each have 5 acres kind of thing. Is that the?
It'll be a little less than that with green space. But we have a lot of green space. So
nice.
With the creeks and things, it's a great setup.
So how does that work? Like, who owns, like, you've got this 20-acre plot. There's going to be some green space that is, the neighborhood land. Like, who owns that?
The HOA will own that.
Okay,
right. Yeah.
Got it.
And
Okay.
We'll pay to take care of it. A lot of it is woods, so there's nothing really to take care of, which is
no
nice.
maintenance.
But we do have like a 3-acre open area that we kept open for like a field to do whatever in, baseball games. Yeah, exactly. Football games, whatever.
That's awesome, dude. I think that's great. And I love that, that's the accumulation of all this hard work. Cause I know how it goes. I mean, yeah, it's only 10% of your brain, but I would argue that, you're up late at night, when the buck stops with you, when you have a problem or your co-founder or whatever, and this stuff goes upstream. And so I commend you for, having the foresight to build something out like this to make your life better. Cause that's what it's all about, man. That's great.
I'm not envious of many things. Not that I don't mean that I have everything already, but like the things that I want, I go and create the scenarios in my life that I want, that I go and create them. This is something I've wanted, but I never thought was possible. And you just made it happen. So that's cool. I like it.
Are we talking laundromats or are we talking the compound?
No, the compound.
The compound.
I can create a business. It's fine.
Yeah, no
whatever.
problem.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact,
compound's amazing.
we often say here, and this is not meant to involve religion in the show by any stretch of the imagination, but the phrase, God grant us the serenity not to start another business. That is a thing. That's a mantra here.
I know. I feel it for sure.
Yeah, it's a shiny object. Well, that's awesome. It's a great story. You're a great example of pushing yourself out of, creating your own reality. I talk about it all the time. And I think it's terrific. I appreciate you coming on the show and sharing your story, man.
Yeah. Thank you guys for having me. It's been a blast.
Absolutely.
Good
yeah.
time.
Creating your own reality. We talk about that a lot, but you've got it. You've done it in from every angle, Tyler. That's pretty cool, man.
Trying to.
As well you should, because no one else is going to do it for you.
That's right.
So, yep. Very cool. Thanks for hanging out with us, Tyler. Tyler, remind people where they can find you if they want to hunt you down.
Follow me on X at Tyler Purcell 24.
There you go. We will put that link in the show notes, folks. We'll also put links for Shannon and me in the show notes as well. Feedback at businessbrain.show is another way that you can find us. But find us. Let us know what you're interested in. You might be somebody like Tyler that has a good story to tell, and then we'll have you on the show to tell it. But otherwise, keep living that charmed life, and we'll see you on Friday.
Awesome.
We're done with that episode. I will say it because I promised I would. We are still streaming.
Still live. That's
still
it.
live.
So we're in between the episodes and do that. But yeah, Tyler, that was terrific.
Oh, man.
It's a great story. I knew that family compound will get you going, Dave. It's good. And you can actually do it in California. You just can't do it.
Of course you can. It's just you got to buy the land, which is the problem.
I mean, I bought 5 acres up in the Sierra foothills late last year, and with 2 houses on it in the river. But it's just, the numbers are just bigger, but you can still do it.
Yeah, of course.
For reference, we got the 20 acres for $300,000.
Yeah, so my 5 acres cost me $620, but there are 2 houses on it.
Yeah, you have houses on it.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, that's not bad.
And it's 2 hours, about 2 hours and 15 minutes from San Francisco Bay Area where I live, and I live in the suburbs. But I mean, it's 2 hours 50. So it's not bad.
It's not terrible. No.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's doable. I don't know anybody I want to live with anymore. So other than my wife and my kids.
Candidly, and I realize we're still streaming, but candidly, that's the part I'm most envious of is that you're younger than me. You've got people you still want to live near.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
It is a big deal. Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, dude. Well, that's great. Thank you very much. We're going to bump you here and go record our Casual Friday show. But I'll see you in the chat. And this will be live tomorrow or pushed out to all the podcast stuff tomorrow.
Okay.
And we'll share the link again. So thank you again, Tyler. Really appreciate it, man.
Sounds good, guys. Talk to you later.
Yeah.
Take care.
Thanks for hanging out. It was a pleasure meeting you, Tyler. Yep.
See you, Dave.
See you.
All right.
Wow.
So he can go.
Yeah.
I love that. Ban from studio. I almost pressed that button.
Don't ban him.
There's a ban.
We want to bring him back someday. Yeah.
Hey, and I think we should talk about for our Friday show.
Absolutely.
Talk about the you don't even know what I'm going to say. We're talking about the AI prompt thing you posted into Slack. I think that's a great
I
thing.
thought you meant the bank thing. But yes.
That should the intro topic. I think we should talk
agree.
about the intro topic. The bank thing is great, and then we should after the ad spot we should discuss that. I think that's a great
the AI thing. No, it's great.
A great prompt that we should share with everybody. I was dying to share it on X, but I waited because I thought, well, let's do the show, and then on Friday when we post the show, I'll do a post about it because I think it's pretty cool.
I agree.
And
I've been meaning to ask you this. And we've got 100 people watching or whatever, so it's good to get the hive mind in on this. Is there a benefit, a perceived benefit, in us paying to verify the Business Brain account?
Yes, if we want to grow that account, absolutely.
Interesting.
Yeah, if it's all. It's little benefits stacked on top of each other.
I get that.
And that's one of the huge benefits is getting verified and paying for it. And then, they promote your post even a little bit more.
A little bit more. Okay. So that was my question is, are verified accounts like,
yes.
Yeah. Because my Dave Hamilton account used to be verified. And then of course they took that away.
Oh yeah. But it's like I do the
it's
premium
$8
plus,
a month.
but that's the cheap one, but I do I'm just, I did it all, but I just renewed it. I think it's totally worth it. I definitely saw my reach expand when I expanded it.
Makes sense.
And you get into I will earn that money back in monetization. I've already made like $500 in posts. So like you're getting paid on Facebook posts, same concept, but I think so.
Yeah.
That's great.
All right.
So for those of you watching, there's 97 of you. Dave is going to move some buttons and knobs around to make sure the first episode is ready to go.
I think I did most of those.
Did all that? That's great.
So
Tyler's a great guy to come on. I knew that compound thing would really be an interesting concept because so many people, I think, have this vision in their head of, wow, someday I could have some land and I could do this and do that. And here's a guy that's done it. It's very, very cool.
All right, let me find this prompt here.
All right.
What is it? Risen. Yes.
Yeah, Risen, right? RISEN. And I've been using it last couple of days, and I would say it worked. I have to put it somewhere where I can see it, so it walks me through it again.
I keep going back to that thing I pasted for you.
Yeah, me too. But I like it. I think it's great, and I've been using there's an AI I want to introduce you to, Dave. It's called Cast Magic, and I'm learning more about it. We'll do an episode on it because it's pretty cool. So, but anytime if you're ready, I could be ready too.
I am ready.
Cool.
Let's do this. Yeah, here we go. Business Brain, episode 552 for Casual Friday, May 24th, the 24th of May, Lakeside Park Day 2024. Greetings, folks, and welcome back to Business Brain. Or if it's your first episode, welcome to Business Brain, the show where we take an idea or six, we crunch them, we dissect them, we analyze them so that we can each use them to tune our business brains every single episode here in Durham, New Hampshire. I'm Dave Hamilton.
And I'm still out here in Northern California. I'm Shannon Jean. How you doing, man?
I'm doing okay, but I want to fire my bank again.
If you've listened to this show for any length of time, you know one of my ongoing, I hate banks. They're a necessary evil, but
I guess.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I went to we have sponsors on the show, and our sponsor for this episode is Shopify.com/businessbrain, where you can sign up for your $1 per month trial period, right? We'll talk more about that in a little bit, but we get paid by our sponsors, as you might imagine. And
It's glorious.
yeah. And so it comes into an account in the LLC that we have here that Shannon and I have together. And once a quarter-ish, maybe whatever, 3 times a year, if we haven't spent the money on things to promote the show, we, distribute the money to the members of the LLC, aka the two of us. And Shannon was like, use Zelle to do this. And so I was like, all right, yeah, sure, I use Zelle. Fine, that's whatever. He used it last time.
I did.
I've been using PayPal to send it out because PayPal just slurps it from the checking account and sends it out. And so I was like, yeah, all right, fine, I'll use Zelle. So I go through the whole thing with Zelle, and I go to send it to me, and it's like, you can't send to that person. You have to call the bank.
That's bad.
And I was like, to verify yourself. And I'm like, all right, sure. So I call the bank. And I'm already upset. Now, let's be very clear. I'm
Oh, I knew.
like,
I could tell you. We were in the chat in the Slack.
Shannon can see
Dave
it
was just
escalate.
hammering me.
the heat was on, man.
Yeah, I could see it. See it.
And so I'm already pissed at this point that I have to call the bank to verify I'm me. Okay. And this is a bank that I have an account. I have this business and another business, and that other business moves millions of dollars a year through it. Okay. Let's just be clear about that.
Nice. Yep.
Or did. And so I call the bank, the customer service number, whatever. They're like, oh yeah, you need to talk to somebody in this department. So after 5 minutes or whatever, they transfer me 2 more minutes. Okay. Now I'm on the phone. Great. They're like, yep. Okay. I just need to do that. I need to text you a one-time code. I'm like, great. I give them my cell phone number, which I will point out, because this might be the issue, is the cell phone number that I was trying to send the Zelle to, because that cell phone number is associated with my personal checking account's Zelle receive thing, And the woman's like, oh, I can't send to that number. You need to come into the bank to verify yourself.
Oh, no. That's an impossibility.
And I said a bad word in what I conveyed to her, but essentially what I said was, "Are you kidding me?" That's the part that might have included a 4th word that also happened to start with F, but it wasn't 4th.
Yes.
And I said, if I have to come into the bank, it will be to close my account.
I love that. Yeah, that's good.
And the woman said, well, I'm sorry. Like, it's not her fault. And so I backed off of her because she doesn't set the policies. She's
That's
just
right.
delivering it.
You always treat them nice, but it's
Yeah, and I wasn't nice initially. I mean, in my little outburst of the "Are you kidding me?" Other than that, I remained kind to her, and I apologized to her. But I was like, all right. Well, I had an email from my banker this morning, because with the other business, we do a lot of wire transfers, and he emailed me and he's like, hey, there's a new policy coming that says to do a wire transfer, you need a second person to approve it. So one person submits it, the second person approves it. I'm going to have to file a waiver on your behalf so that you can continue to be the person that approves the wire transfers. Already, I need to log in. This is Citizens Bank, by the way, if anybody wants to know. I need to log in with one account to submit the wire, and then I need to log in with another account.
Oh, come on. That's ridiculous.
Already.
Dude.
That's been going on for
nuts.
6 years.
Yeah.
And now they say that's not cool. It needs to be literally a second human. But he's like, I'm going to try. So, of course, I emailed him, and I'm like, dude, today is the wrong day for them to have told me I need to come into the bank to approve a transfer of not very much money.
Yeah.
I'm like, do I need to come in and close my accounts, or can all this be handled by you?
Yep.
And I'm
That's
waiting
exactly
for the
right.
answer.
Yeah. That's because you have LMA money.
I have a little bit of leave me alone money. That's right.
That's it. Once you have LMA money, you're like, hey, you know what? I'll take my business elsewhere. You're not worried about the bank. The bank is just a tool. And if they don't treat you the way you expect, or they put up these BS rules and things to step, over, I mean, it's just ridiculous. And I've done the same thing. And I have, banking relationships that, like I said, necessarily evil. You have to have it. They're part of commerce. You got to do
no,
it.
you do have to have a bank account.
Yeah,
I know.
to.
I was kidding earlier when I said that.
I send lots of wire transfers too. Almost every week. Pretty much on a weekly basis, I'm sending wire transfers. And if they put barriers into that, I'm leaving. There is no way. And it's. I feel like the banks are so powerful that they don't really understand what customer service is all about. And, they're not taught, the individuals aren't taught. They may give you some platitudes and this kind of thing and try it, but it's not like, oh, we need to save this customer relationship for the most part, unless you have leverage.
The problem is they're immersed in the banking rules. I used to work for a bank, right?
True.
I worked for Citibank. I didn't work in a branch, so I can't say that I have that experience. However, I was the super nerdy guy that understood how all the back-end system works. So I would be the guy once a week. I would go to the customer service center on Long Island and answer the difficult problems. So I did some bank customer service. And you get immersed into, this is how it works here.
Yeah, that's right.
Because of rules.
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Regulations. You have to do this, have to do that. I got it. No, it's great. But I'm glad. Hopefully, the email response you're going to get is, of course, Dave, I'm going to take care of this for you.
All right, folks. Have you ever thought about starting your own merch store but didn't know where to start? Well, let me tell you a story. One random Tuesday, a business partner and I were kind of talking. We had this wild idea with one of our businesses that had nothing to do with merch prior to this day. And we're like, well, wait, we want to do that. We want to turn this into reality. With Shopify, it took us less than a day from concept to our first sale. We heard that sound, which is the sound of a sale happening on Shopify, and we were like, wait, did that just happen? Yeah, it did. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. Whether you're just starting with your online shop, opening your first brick and mortar store, or celebrating your millionth order, Shopify's got your back. I'm not going to play the sound a million times, though, because that might get a little old. But it's that times a million. Shopify will help get you there. That's what you need. Selling anything from productivity programs to shipping supplies, Shopify helps you sell everywhere with their all-in-one e-commerce platform and in-person POS. They even have Shopify Magic, their AI-powered all-star, making selling easier than ever. And did you know Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S. and supports millions of entrepreneurs across 175 countries? And with their award-winning help, you're never alone on your journey. So if you're ready to turn those business dreams into reality, sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/businessbrain, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/businessbrain now to grow your business no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/businessbrain. And our thanks to Shopify for sponsoring this episode.
I love those guys.
Same.
They're the opposite of a bank.
I know. They're
super
so
empowering,
easy to work with.
And they allow you to make money in all these great creative ways. And they empower you where the banks often get in the way.
Get in the way? Yeah,
anyway.
that's right. Yeah, there's no friction with Shopify. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's cool.
I love it. Earlier this week, Shannon, I stumbled on a thing from a listener to Matt Geek Gab, one of the other podcasts that I do. And he shared something about how to level up or maybe polish your use of the generative AIs, ChatGPT and its ilk, right?
Yep.
And it's this thing called the Risen method, RISEN, and that's the important part to
Not the
remember.
rhythm method, but the Risen method.
The rhythm method, which it's interesting you say that. I at the beginning of the show I called this Lakeside Park Day. That is something only known to those of us who are Rush fans, the fans of the band Rush.
Okay.
Because there's this song on their third album called Lakeside Park where they talk about the 24th of May, which in Canada, Queen Victoria Day is a celebration. It's now celebrated on the Monday of, not on the 24th of May. So like it's not always, it's not Queen Victoria Day anymore, even though her birthday was that. But the rhythm method for years was the name of Rush's drummer, Neil Peart's drum solo. It's also other things,
of course,
as you might know.
Yeah, that's good.
No, it's the Risen method, RISEN.
When you shared it with me, I read it. I was like, yeah, this is so great because I've used pieces of this before, as I'm developing prompts and doing things to get the feedback that I want from the AI to help me. And so, I thought this was definitely worth sharing with our listeners first.
It's great. So it's called the Risen method because you are using RISEN as your the path through the prompt. So R is role. Establish the AI's role. Things like you are an advisor, you are a creator. A lot of times when I have it building the blog posts for like the podcasts that I produce, I tell it, you are an SEO expert.
Yes, I do the
right?
same with you're a marketing expert. Yeah, you're a small business owner. You want, and if you're using the 4 Omni, which is the latest release, it actually has a little thing where it resets itself and says, "Oh, updated memory." And if you click on it, it'll say, "I am a marketing expert," or I am whatever. So you're causing it to shift gears based on what you want out of it. Smart.
Yep. And so that's R. The I is instructions or input, the specific question, clarifying, detailing what you want the AI to do with a very clear directive. So the instructions, right?
Yeah.
And then S are the steps. The break down the task into these manageable steps, ensuring like a logical progression through things, things like first, provide an overview, then delve into the details, giving the AI the instructions so that it knows what you want as results.
Yeah, and I've been using it to help create worksheets and course material for content I've already created. So like a chapter in a book I'm working on, I will tell it, here, I first want you to read this chapter, make sure you understand it. Then I want a 10-step worksheet for a business owner, followed by a 10-step worksheet for an employer that can help teach these tasks. It's a different framework of how they're presenting it to it, and it's important. It works.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah. And then part of the steps is the next thing, E, the end goal, the expectation, right? What is the objective of this prompt to help guide the AI? Things like, I want to make a brief summary, or I want to make a comprehensive guide. Those are two very different outcomes. And, when I build the show notes for like Mac Geek Gab or Gig Gab, you do this show, but when I do the other shows, I say, build me 2 paragraphs. I don't want 5 paragraphs. I don't want 1 sentence. I want 2 paragraphs. When I do the ads, by the way, every ad script that I read and that I have been reading for the last, 3 months, 6 months, maybe, has been written by AI. I've learned that I have to tell it, build me a 40-second ad script. My pacing, I don't know who it thinks would read those ad scripts in 40 seconds. I speak really fast.
Yeah, sure.
And it takes me like, maybe 80 seconds to read, 90 seconds to read.
Yeah.
So I know. All right, build me a 40-second script. Fine. I'm double what you think I'm going to be.
Yep.
How does it know? I'm not giving it I'm not going back and giving it, here's the audio file from, now I could with 4Omni maybe and have it learn me, but
yeah. And really telling it what you need the information for is crucial.
Yes.
Like if you're getting help with a social media post, you want short, distinct, answers or sentences or something like that. But if it's for a blog post or
very different
your worksheet, that you've got to tell it what you want. I use it a lot. I use it for the imagery for every episode here of Business Brain and a lot of posts that I do online and other business things. So it's the same thing. You want it. Oh, I want this flat image and I want these dimensions and I want this. And we're joking around with the guy who runs a business called Mulch Masters, a young guy who's in our growth group on X, and he was trying to do a sign, and I said, "Wow, what would be great?" And I was just being funny. I said, "I want to create a sign that says Bark Boys," and I said, 2 guys, college kids, moving stuff around, shirts off, muscular, and ChatGPT came back and said, that may be against my terms and conditions.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, but it made it. And it made this funny kind of, picture. I only shared it within our group. The more information you do, the better. And I now write all my prompts in a separate document. And then I paste them into ChatGPT because I save them. And and I like to save the results with what it created because I'm trying to become, just like I think I'm a pretty good Googler, over time using natural language to find things you want. Well, I hardly use Google anymore at all. And I can't be the only one. And
Google knows this. They just said so at Google I/O, right?
Yeah.
They are. What was the phrase they kept saying? Something along the lines of, "Let us do the Googling for you."
Yes.
Which is a huge change.
It is.
Their whole business model was to have your time on site, right? The number of seconds that you or we as users spent on Google, they wanted it as low as possible. They wanted you to come, search, and leave, which made Google valuable.
For years.
Now,
it's different.
Now, but that's bad for publishers.
Yeah,
well,
it is bad.
It's bad for publishers that aren't going to change.
Yeah, you have to adapt, I'm trying to become a good prompt person in creation because I believe this next wave of opportunity is what it is built around how we're going to use these AIs. And I mentioned this Cast Magic. I don't know if it was before we started this show or after, but if you're creating content in any form at all, if you're a teacher, if you're a podcaster, a musician, a writer, anything, the AI is going to do so much for you to create something else. And Cast Magic I'm using it to mine information from our previous podcasts to present it. Like, for example, we did a show about a product or service strategy. And I went and with a RSS feed, put it into Cast Magic, and it pulled out and I said, hey, I want a post related to this, or I want an article related to these topics. And it went in and created that post for me based on that podcast.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing. And you can do it with anything, whether you're a YouTuber, you have a manuscript, a blog, or whatever. It's very impressive. And I think it's just getting started. It's amazing. And so
Cast Magic slurps through audio content,
video,
and then
audio,
video
text,
or audio,
anything.
Oh, interesting.
Anything.
Wow.
And then there is a couple. Then there's just like a whole menu of things that you can do, and it's mind blowing. I've been doing the same with the new AI that's built into Loom. If you know what Loom is, it allows you to talk in a corner of your screen and tell somebody thing. Well, now what Loom does, it takes that same content and uses the AI, and it like I helped a coaching client of mine with their X profile. And I was like, hey, I'm going to go through this whole walkthrough of your profile and tell you how I think you should improve it, change this, add this, reword this, da-da-da-da. And it was about 15, 20 minutes because then I talked to them about their posts and different things. Well, Loom basically created a course for me all about how to succeed on the X platform. And I thought, whoa, man, this is crazy. There's a whole breakdown of this, that. So in the past where we've had to go duplicate our efforts, whether it's writing, video, whatever, now the AI as our assistant is going to create all different forms of what we've done one time. And so it's systemizing the use of our content and helping with distribution. So, and that's a big thing for me next. Like I won't, so.
Yeah. Listen, if you're not, the AI is going to do this anyway.
Yes, it is.
Here's the reality, right? All the content that we've created, the 20 plus, almost 30 years of the stuff that we did at Mac Observer, the almost 20 years of the podcast content I've created, the AI is going to ingest that. Not going to. It already has.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
And that's fine. But it's going to synthesize all of that and turn it into valuable summaries or things that are valuable to people when they're looking for a specific thing.
So you might as well monetize that.
You might as well get ahead of it.
Yes.
Use the AI to further sort of refine your content or repurpose your content.
Well, like Cast Magic, as it's helping me pull out these data points and what are the top 5 topics we discussed in a show and different things. It's also saying, okay, here's a LinkedIn version of that post. Here's an X version of that post. Here's a clip that you can post to YouTube if you want. Here's this. Here's an image with the transcript coming over on top of a picture as we describe a certain topic. And so I've only been messing with it for like 24 hours, and I'm sitting here. I was up till like 2 a.m. working with it last night. I was like, okay,
game changer.
This is incredible. So it was great, and I'm going to be posting my first post on X after we're done with this show, talking about this product, this 3-part product or service strategy that we did a whole episode on.
Yeah, right.
And it just brought it together for me. It's not producing content for me.
No, it's refining what you've already said.
Exactly. And preparing it in different formats. So it's
amazing.
It is amazing. If you want to read about it, go to businessbrain.show. You'll see it in the show notes.
Okay, great.
The link.
Yeah. The last thing in this Risen framework, and it's important, is the N part of it, narrowing. Because you want to state any limitations, constraints, how you want it formatted. When I do my blog posts for, the podcast, I always say, create me the 2-paragraph blog post based on these chapters. I just feed it the chapters that I create while we're doing the show. I say omit any mention of sponsors. I'm already going to do that separately. You don't need to spend, half a paragraph talking about the sponsors. We've already got that. And don't wrap it in quotation marks. Like if there's formatting things, all of that stuff.
Because you're going to copy it and paste it, and it puts
I don't want to have to go when I do the ad reads, I say make it for one person and no sound effects, because it will list do this sound effect, then say this, do this sound effect. That's not me. Cool. But that's fine, but that's not me. So,
It's great. It's great. It's and I'm a 58-year-old guy. I've been around a long time building businesses, learning this stuff. The first, team app that we deployed at one of my businesses was AOL Instant Messenger. I've been here a long time, and I can tell you that I see it. It's just like I talk about the energy from building something on X, and that I think it's really something unique, and there's a big runway ahead of us. It's the same with these tools that are going to help entrepreneurs and small business owners do far more than we ever could have, and it's exciting, man. The future is bright.
I agree.
Awesome.
Thanks for hanging out with us a little extra today here on Casual Friday, folks. Very interesting. I love this stuff. It's
so do I.
Yeah, man. Yep. Thanks for hanging out. Feedback at businessbrain.show is where you can find us. Please send us your thoughts. What AI engines are you using? Let us know, and keep living that charmed life. I'll see you next week. Later. We're out.
Awesome. All right, streamers, we're going to shut it down here as we finish up. Just do a couple little bit of housekeeping things. Both these episodes, so the first episodes with Tyler Purcell will get pushed out to all the podcast apps tomorrow. That is the 22nd. And then the episode we just recorded with all that cool AI stuff will come out Friday, the 24th. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out, folks.
Yeah, we'll see you again next week. Take it easy. See ya.